I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? Oh, it is a wonderful day. It is a beautiful day today, and I'm so excited. I have a podcast review for you right now. So it's review time. It's review. Did you hear that? It's review time. I am loving it. Okay, so I want to share my screen. Yes. Okay, so here we go. The Curious Ulsterman. I hope I said that right. Ulsterman. And so we're going to go ahead and look at this website with a critical eye, a very critical eye. I love the content, but there's a few different things that we've been asked when it comes to reviewing this site. So let's get to it. Based on just me coming on here, I've been on here a few times already. So the Curious Ulsterman, and it's a podcast with you in mind. Okay. It's about different subjects, different things that are going on, talking to people of all natures and just going through life. Okay. And so I like that concept. I really do. Right here, there's some featured episodes. And if you keep going down, you'll see the recent episodes, everything. You'll be able to sign up, Patreon, PayPal, buy a coffee, Apple, Spotify, Google, Overcast, Pocket Cast, RSS feed. I mean, it's right there. I mean, very convenient, very convenient. I love that. I love that it's very convenient. I love the fact that I can just go ahead and do whatever I need to do right there. Also, tweets. Okay, there is a Twitter account right there, so you can get that as well as Facebook. So these are all the conveniences of this website. Also, you have about the host. So you have Johnny is the Curious Ulsterman and Nathan the Jolly Viking. Okay, so basically, I love the ease of the site. And if we keep going through the site, we got the episodes, the videos, about, reviews, contact, and donate. So we're going to videos, which is going to be our next stop. And right off the bat, I notice coming into your own self-respect, right? I go here to click on it, video unavailable. This is going to be the biggest pet peeve that I have because I love the ease of everything. Now I have to click off of the website. I mean, I understand that the playback has been disabled by the video owner here, and you have to go to YouTube to actually watch it, which takes the client off your website. Don't do that. Make it available or take it down. So that way the client never leaves your website, never leaves your website. So I see that a few times, I see that a couple of times. I'm sorry. I saw it a couple of times. And then after that, everything was on there. So I'm not sure why those were taken down, but then you got this one here that's also taken down. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to have our feed taken down or disabled. We want to keep the client, keep the perspective, keep the client, keep the listener, the watcher, the viewer, the potential, investor, donator, whatever the case may be. We want to keep them on the site. We're going to go ahead and go back to the menu, and we're going to go to about, which I love, but it's short. It's like, okay, I already saw this on the first page on the end about the hosts. So it doesn't really, and we still have this here. This is the same thing I read earlier. So literally, I don't want to see that anymore. And I don't want to see about the hosts the same thing anymore. I want something different. About needs to be about. And I've already seen this. So why would we have another page for about when I've already seen this already on the first page? So this should either be beefed up or taken down. So basically that's what I think about the about page. We have reviews, all reviews. Let's go ahead. This is wonderful. This is great. I saw the reviews, great reviews. That's great. That's great. Now, at the bottom, or even right here at the top, you should have an option for people to leave another review. Since it's on the review page, I feel like I need to leave one too. But there's no option for me to leave a review on this page. So I really truly want to be able to leave a review on this page, but I can't. And then it ends. So unfortunately, for me, I'm not able to dictate how much I really truly love the podcast. And for you, you don't have someone who has that impulse to actually leave a review. And it can be reviewable by you. You can approve it or not. But the option for them to leave that review would be amazing to have on the review page. So you can rate the show here. Leave a review. Great. So we have that. But by the time people get to leave a review, they're not even going to go back to leave a review. You see what I'm saying? They're going to go to the reviews. So you should leave a review. Just take this page down, add it to the top, or add it to the bottom of the page on reviews, because that's the impulse that they have. They may not ever go back up to here. Okay. Rate on Apple should also be on the review page. It should not be on. It should not be on there. It should not be on there. So basically what I'm saying is everything should be convenient. Everything should be right in front of them. So easy that they can just do it without even thinking. And that's going to get you better reviews as well. So that would be something that I would do with that. I would combine all of this. The review page should just be review page. Everything should be there. And then a link to rate on Apple Podcasts should be there for them to click off of the page. Obviously, they're going to have to click off to get to it, but at least it'll be on the review page, which will make it really simple, really easy, super convenient, and I mean, just a no-brainer. Okay. Contact. Great page. Great page. It's simple. It's right there. Maybe if you want to put, hey, thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast. We would love to have you, if you have any comments or if you would like to contact us, please don't hesitate to contact us. These are our operating hours. Some of this stuff, I personally am combining my website to do it because I've noticed that most people like to go to one website. They just want to go to one website, not two. So I'm combining my websites to give them the convenience of having just one place to go and get everything that I offer. So basically, that's what I need from this. The contact page is wonderful. It's wonderful. Fill out the form below and I'll get back to you. But it's not personable. It's really formal. It doesn't invite me. It doesn't have that inviting feel of a person who is really concerned about the contact that these people want to make with you. So maybe you make it a little bit more personable, a little bit more warming, and and to soften people up and to get them to actually contact you with a smile on their face. Okay, and your donate. Yes, definitely. But maybe even put, your face there, or thank you video would be amazing. Yeah, thank you, so much for donating to this cause. So let's go ahead and consolidate some of these things and get it and make it easier for the consumer, for the listener to actually just go to one place. Do it on an impulse. Impulses are where you make your money. Impulses are where you get your ratings, your best ratings, your truth rate, your true ratings. People who have that impulse to say, "Hey, I really loved your show. I really loved everything about it." But and then there you go. That's what I'm saying. So that's really, really cool. I love the fact that you have your Twitter, your Facebook, Instagram, your YouTube, your TikTok, your Twitch right on the top, and also follow. Follow's amazing. So let's go back. Let's go back here and let's go to episodes, because I know that a couple of the questions that were asked of me was, how is the website? And so now that you've seen how I think the website is, I absolutely love the convenience of the website. I think it can be combined even more to give even more of a convenience and less of a search for the client and for the consumer and the listener. Okay, so podcast cover art and music. I didn't hear any music. So let's go ahead and go back. And let me see if I can get some music here. So I know that the music was I'm talking about when I went to the video. So why isn't the music in the video as well? because that would be amazing. Even start off with the podcast logo, the Curious Ulsterman. Get that in there. Put the music behind it before you even begin, and then you can kind of come up on the screen. So I like the music. I think it enhances curiosity in the person that's listening. It's
Hello,
short,
everyone,
it's
and
sweet,
welcome back.
and it's to the point. So it doesn't take too long to come in, and it doesn't, make me want to get off, basically. So literally, I love the music, but I think that music and your logo, your podcast art should be the first thing that people see when you come on for the video. So that's something too. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go back because I know I have a couple more questions. Is it easy to navigate the website? Overall, yes, it is easy to navigate, simple to navigate. I just think it should be combined a little bit more. The content and the structure of the show notes. Yes, so everything is great. The show notes are great. Everything is good. I think you're very complete in your show notes. But what I'm saying here is people's attention span can run 10 tops 30 minutes. I would do a majority of the shows should be less than 30 minutes. And if you have two parts and two parts. So, but then you could do a long show every now and again. If you do always long shows, people will come, they'll listen to a little bit and they'll say, "Oh, I'll listen to it later." And sometimes they never get back to it. But if it's short enough for them to actually play it while they're getting ready for work, while they're in their transit, going to work, coming from work, going to lunch, listening to it on their breaks, that's what we are striving to do, getting people to listen to the entire podcast. And this here is a 44 minute 55-second podcast that may be 15 and 55 seconds too long, only because most people don't have that long of a time to actually listen and pay attention to a podcast anymore, because we're very busy people now. Some people do. I'm not going to say all, but I'm going to say some. So we really do need to think about shortening those and making them a little bit shorter so that we can catch those people on their breaks, on their transits, in traffic, before work, after work, during the preparation for dinner, which takes about 30 minutes nowadays. So definitely think about doing that. And then once in a while, have an extended version so it's longer than 30 minutes and people will actually listen to it because they're so used to hearing your voice, it doesn't matter anymore. Your delivery was great. I think that your delivery overall, I think that you don't have a lot of fluctuation in your voice. It's pretty straightforward. So when I was listening to your voice, it's very soothing. You have a very soothing voice. I'm not going to say
To the
you
Curious
don't.
Ulsterman podcast,
So
the podcast designed to equip
as we
you with the
listen to
tools and
here,
wisdom
as we
you
are
need to
listening
thrive as an
here,
adult. I am your host, Johnny, aka the Curious Ulsterman, and today I am joined by my good friend and co-host, Nathan, aka the Jolly Viking, and we are on episode 2 of the 5-part series, Coming Into Your Own. In today's episode, we discuss the topic of self-respect, and we discuss the 3 actionable steps you can take to not only build self-respect, but to sustain it in the long run.
Okay, so basically, you are going straight through everything, and there's no inflections in your voice. There is no excitement about what you're talking about today. It's just straight across, and maybe that's something that we need to work on. I had to work on that when I first started podcasting because that was something that I was lacking in. I was just lacking in that excitement, that moment of bursting in my voice, the fluctuations, the excitement, and then the curiosity. So there are different ways to speak. I think that with that comes your voice. Now your host,
Friend of mine and as a mentor.
And so it's how do you overcome that part of you that's kind of it's hardwired into us as a species. That's how we survived. That's how we got to the top of the food chain. So it's like how do you overcome that, isn't it? And I think that's kind of whether you do your, and those things are never going to come, whilst you're in your sort of, like you were talking about, your tranquil meditative state first thing on the morning.
So I think this sounds more like an interview than it does sound like two people who are hosting a show. So I'm thinking, at first I thought that you were going to interview him, but then he's your co-host. So it's kind of like confusing because it sounds like an interview, but you guys are talking back and forth. So I think it's confusing a little bit. In a couple of the episodes, you guys were cool, but in this one particularly, that's why I wanted to do this one. I really truly need to hear the influx in your voice, to hear the different ups and downs, to hear the excitement and the disappointment, and just the curiosity as well, because this is the Curious Ulsterman. So I wanted to hear that, and I just didn't get that. I didn't get that. The context of the entire thing was wonderful, beautiful, brilliant. The influx wasn't there. So it's not going to hold the audience as much as if you were to be very outgoing, even, just on audio, just be blazing, just go for it. Just, yo, what's up? This is the Curious Ulsterman, and I'm here with my co-host, and I mean, make it exciting, because people need to be entertained, and they need to be entertained in a way where it's going to keep them listening to you. Okay, so your delivery, we talked about that. The length of the intro is not too long, it's perfect. And the outro, let's go ahead and listen to the outro real quick. So let's go here.
You really stand for, or what are. There you go, folks. That was today's episode on self-respect. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do consider subscribing to the podcast and leaving us a 5-star rating and review on your preferred streaming service. If you feel like someone would benefit from this content, please do share it on your various social media platforms. The Curious Ulsterman is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, all at The Curious Ulsterman. If you tuned in today for the first time, thank you so much. And to our repeat listeners, thank you so much for your continued support. Me and Nathan really appreciate it. A big shout out to our repeat listeners in Colorado, South Korea, London, Birmingham, New York, and everywhere else around the world. I hope you'll join us for next week's episode. But until next time, folks, I wish you all the best. Bye for now.
Okay, so we hear the same music going out that we heard going in. Great, wonderful. What I'm going to say here is that I would have loved to hear your co-host say bye, and not just you for your co-host, as well as, hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. You can go on our website and find everything you need, Twitter, Facebook, we're everywhere that you are at the Curious Ulsterman. And my co-host, what's up? And then he comes in, he says, yeah, everybody, so something along those lines, because it's so tranquil, it's so peaceful that it's too tranquil, it's too peaceful. There's no influx, and there's no invitation to the website, which is where you want everybody to go, and that is where everything is. So you should point to that. I know that you want to say that you can get us on TikTok and this and that and the other, but saying, hey, all of my social media links are on my webpage at the Curious Ulsterman. All you have to do is just go straight there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in all over the world. Oh my gosh. And my co-host and your co-host can interrupt you there and say, that's right, we're everywhere and we want you to be here. So don't forget to tune into next week's episode. And thank you guys again so much. That's right. Thank you so much. So it's a back and forth co-host kind of thing that I think is lacking here. So that's the biggest thing there. So these are things that we just definitely need to think about when we're doing the podcast, when we're co-hosting, when we're trying to get people to subscribe and comment and like and follow and all those good things. So basically that's what I mean, what I think about that. The length of the episodes we talked about, the variety of guests and subjects are great. They're wonderful. I loved it. I love that you have so many different people on there, because this is life. We're talking about life. We're talking about different things that go on in life, and we should have different guests, and you're definitely doing a wonderful job at that. So I love that. Congratulations on that. I do find value in the content, yes, because I love the fact that you went through a lot of different things. You talked about a lot of different ways that we could value ourselves. And I love that too, and that helps me as much as it helps the next person to listen. I just need that influx in your voice, definitely. What is the overall impression of the podcast? I love the podcast. I really did love the podcast. I think that because I sat there and I listened to it, I kind of listened to it with my headphones on because it was so long and I was cooking and cleaning and trying, and I had to pause it a lot because I had to answer my family and answer my friends. I think if I could get away for about 30 minutes without any problems, and then after that, life happens. So that's what I'm saying. A podcast a little bit less than 30 minutes, and then every once in a while that hour podcast would be wonderful. Definitely wonderful. Would I recommend this to my family and friends? Yes, I do. And yes, I would. And yes, I always do. Because I think that every podcast has something for the next person. And you know what? People who work at home like me and have a home office, we can take the time to actually listen to our podcast. So yes, I do refer this. And yes, I do send this out to all of my listeners and all of my viewers every single time, because it's so important that we support each other. And I do love your podcast. I do really love your podcast. I really do. The thoughts on the YouTube channel associated with the podcast. I loved it, but I would have liked to see your logo and your intro with the music in the beginning at the end. And definitely, it doesn't, I don't think so much the background matters, because we kind of experiment with backgrounds and I've gone through mine. But at the same time, it's like, I just think that the logo at the beginning and the end with the music is going to make it better. It's going to make it's going to brand it, because on your audio, you have the beginning and the end, but on your podcast, on the video, you don't. So brand that sucker, make it the same. Put that logo and that music in the beginning and make it the same at the end. Definitely something I would do. The podcast gets the guests and the subjects right. You got the website right. There's a couple of combinations that you could do that would actually tweak you and make it a lot better. What you don't have right is just the influx in your voices. I just think that it's just too calm. It's way too calm. And for people who are on the go and stuff, they need that, and you could probably, if you did that, if you influxed your voice, if you gave that excitement of I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm this, I'm that, I'm curious, I'm this, that would really, really project further than the calm voice that you do have. So I would work on that. Definitely, that would be something that you could build on, would be, getting that right, and then building on, just keep building on your subject titles. I love your subjects. They're just wonderful. They're just wonderful. So I think I've already talked about what was wrong. I don't think it's so much wrong, though. I think it's just something that we all have to tweak. Look, we all have something that we have to do to get it better, to get it right. And this is just something that we have to go through. Is there going to be someone else out there that's going to tell you something different? Yes, because everybody has their preference. So look, when I'm looking at your podcast, I'm looking at mine too. So I'm comparing my faults and things I have to get done with the stuff that you got to get done, with the stuff I've already done, the things I know I need to do, the things I know everybody should be doing to make things easier. I have gone through hundreds of websites. I've reviewed hundreds of websites. I think your website is amazing. It is right on there. What I'm doing now is just being very picky. That's all I'm doing. But I think that your website, I think that your podcast, I think that the subject matter and your guests and everything you're doing is amazing. Don't stop. Keep going. It's wonderful what you're doing. I loved it. The only things that I say are influxing your voice, combine that review page, and I think that's it. Oh, the music at the beginning and the end with your logo on your YouTube channel. And that's it. So if those are the things that are holding you back, then man, you have it made. Because I love your podcast. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I love the website. I love the ease of it. I loved everything about it. Okay. So I'm going to give this 2 thumbs up, because what you got to do is going to take you about 5 minutes. So congratulations on a wonderful podcast, The Curious Ulsterman. I am so happy to just be able to share this. Ta-da! So I am, yes, referring them to all my listeners and all the people on my podcast and my viewers on YouTube, Amazon Fire, as well as Roku and every place else that we broadcast. Only because why? It's wonderful. And all under 30 minutes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can get our website at dreamchasersradio.com. That's dreamchasersradio.com, where you can find everything that you need, all the way to social media, all the way through everything. Just go there, love it, like it, and be blessed. Until next time, guys, don't forget to dare to be different. Bye.
I dare to be different. I dare to be different. I dare to be different.